My name is Samantha. I'm utterly new to YouTube, well, the creator side. I've binge watched my first share of hours of YouTube. You know what I mean. So I'm actually creating this channel because I want to be documenting this and the projects I make from here on out. I have two reasons why this channel is being made. First is I've always wanted to sew. I've always had a love for it. The only thing is I didn't have a machine at a certain time, or I always just made excuses for myself and I never held myself accountable for it, which is actually going to the second reason, holding myself accountable. I wouldn't hold myself accountable for certain things, like let's say, oh, I want to start a new project. I would have the ganas, but I just wouldn't actually do the steps that it would need. So once I've had my sewing machine, you know, I hit the floor running. I bought fabric, I bought thread, I bought sewing books. As the videos progress, I can actually start including some of the things that I bought, like the patterns, the brand of threads, and also the two sewing books that I actually love and I refer to a lot if I have any questions, or my second resource, YouTube. So I'm actually doing this entire video and I'm hoping that there's people that want to see this, and you know, if not, that's fine. I'm gonna keep posting these videos because if I can get one person to start sewing, awesome. So I'm also starting these videos because I'm sewing garments that fit me, that fit my body type, and you know, I want to put it out in the world, and I want to put it out because I'm not a professional seamstress. Like, I'm just sewing because one, I like it, it's fun, and you learn something new. And two, I'm also doing it because if I can put it out online, then that means anyone else can put it out online. Then that means we can learn together. That means that questions I may have, someone can answer. That means questions that someone will have, my videos won't answer. So the fabric pattern I have is actually going to be in McCall's, and we're going to be going over McCall's 8144 view B. I will be posting it here or here, preferably hopefully here, a little screen grab of it. And I did get this fabric at Joann's, I want to say 5 or 6 months ago. I bought it from Joann's. It's a velvet two-way stretch, and then you're going to be seeing a screen grab around here, I'm hoping. This is a velvet two-way stretch, so keep that in mind when you're going to use thread. I'll talk about that in a little bit also still. So this pattern was actually extremely easy to work on, and when I say extremely, I mean I had literally just come off of making a McCall's dress that for a beginner I would not recommend, but if I had to redo it, I would definitely redo it again, and I will actually be redoing that dress again. So when I say that this is a actually very easy pattern, I mean this is an easy pattern, and not like, oh, give me like 5 minutes and I'll be done. Like, no, I mean like it's easy in the sense as to in view B that I had decided to do, you only had 3 pattern pieces to cut. That's great from like cutting 18 from the last project I did. Yeah, so 3 pattern pieces is actually really easy. I was able to do all of the cutting in one night. I decided to cut rather very late, so I did the cutting in one night. I prepped the fabric, I made sure everything was good to go, and the next night I just started sewing at night. Also, I know it's not recommended to be sewing at night just because of your eyes, and then it's hard to look at fabric, but it's just that's the only time frame I have specifically in my life at this point in time. I started sewing. I want to say it took me around roughly 2 to 3.5 hours, just because I was getting distracted by folding clothes and then also just by sewing. I had done all my cutting off the paper pattern, and I actually traced it to another piece of paper. I don't ever cut into my patterns just because I fluctuate in my weight, and I would like to be able to recreate some of these items. So if I've made it once and I really like it, I'm just gonna recreate it with the already cut out piece that I have, because I don't cut into the original, which I actually learned from a lot of my other sewing groups that I'm on via social media and things like that. Next thing that I had to do that night when I started cutting out my patterns and I cut into the fabric was I tested a fabric swatch on my sewing machine. I'll be putting the information of what sewing machine I have in the description box below. I tested a fabric swatch on my sewing machine. I mean, my seams were puckering, and for the life of me I could not figure out why that was happening. So when I was reading up, I had noticed that I didn't change out my thread. The last project I was working on, I actually used dressmaker thread, but due to this being a velvet two-way stretch, I had to actually change my thread out to either a satin or a cotton. So that required me to go to Joann's the next day and actually get my cotton thread. The next day, had gotten my thread. It's already nighttime and I started sewing. Tester again on my fabric just to make sure so I don't actually have to start sewing, or so I don't start sewing on my garment. On my tester, my stitches come out perfect. It's like, okay, awesome. So this was the fault of the thread for the last tester. If you look at the front, you're gonna see that the front of the garment has two bodice pieces. So it's gonna be bodice part 1, bodice part 2, two bodice pieces from the fabric. So and the back was going to be cut on the fold, so the back was just opened up perfectly, and then you had two bodice pieces, so you had to stitch from the center, the top down. That's what I did. Had no problems there whatsoever once I had figured out that the thread was actually what was throwing it off. And then you just stitch my neckline going all the way up. Once I had done the neckline, okay guys, I wanted to apologize for not including a cowl neckline portion of this video, but I basically turned the fabric right side facing out, and then I folded it in and I sewed it at the side seams on the right side of the cowl neckline and on the left side of the cowl neckline. Okay guys, after you're done with your cowl neckline, you're going to be attaching the sleeves. So the sleeves you're going to be stitching together. Once you stitch them together, you're going to be going from your armhole up, pinning, and then just sewing them in. I will try to post stills here of the front and the back of the finished garment with my hair up, of course, because you're not gonna be able to see it because my hair's black and the garment's black. I know. Make sure you thumbs this video up, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a comment, please share this video. If not for me, then at least to get the word out, and I'm hoping that we can have newcomers on this channel, and just the way I'm learning, I'm hoping I can help someone else learn. But thank you so much for giving me your time. I don't know how long this video is, but gracias.